There is dirt everywhere, guys, and today we are doing a little construction update for the hopeful homestead. That is right. There is dirt absolutely everywhere. How's it going, guys, and welcome to another episode of Coffee Talk. My name is Chad and this is the Hopeful Homestead. And in this series of videos, I like to sit out here with a cup of coffee while I chat with you guys, all the husbands and dads out there, about all the things we have to deal with in life. And today we are talking about what I'm dealing with in life right now, which is building our forever home here on our farmland, out on a 21-acre piece of land here that we've got in South Florida that me and my wife are building our little homestead on. And as many of you know, this is an exciting video for me to be making because it has been a journey and a half to get to the point where I can actually provide a construction update. Who would have thought it would have taken so long to be able to talk about dirt being moved around? But here we are 3 years later and it's actually happening. Now, that's a good cup of coffee. It's been a minute since I've had a cup of coffee inside of this cabin here. It tastes good and it feels good. But yeah, like I said at the beginning of the video, there's dirt everywhere, man. I mean, it is. We had absolutely no idea how much dirt we would have coming out of the lake that we're digging on the back of the property. And as I mentioned before, in the back half, we call it the back 7. Is not really a half. 21 acres here. We got 3.5 acre wetland that takes up a good chunk in the middle of it, and coming around the side of it, you end up having about 7 usable acres in the back. So we call it the back 7. In the back 7, we're digging that 1 acre pond, 1 acre lake, and we ended up getting 2 mountains worth of dirt from that lake. I mean, we did soil tests and everything. We thought it was going to be a lot of dirt, but we didn't know exactly how much dirt was going to be usable dirt. And it's so much that I decided to make a mountain over by the shooting range so that it could be a full-on permanent mountain, as long as we are allowed to keep that here. And the county doesn't have a problem with that. Fingers crossed. Hopefully that'll be the case. And the other mountain of dirt is bigger than that one that we're keeping, and we need to sell that dirt. We're trying to get rid of it. So hopefully we'll be able to hit my contractor's saying there's anywhere between 300 to 500 dump truck loads worth of dirt that we need to get rid of. So fingers crossed we can actually sell some of that and recoup some of the excavation costs, because that would be pretty cool. Of the dirt that they did use, they took from there, they brought it around to the front of the property and they dispersed it all. They've raised the level of the driveway so that from the road all the way back towards the main house and looping around towards the guest house and the garage and everything, it's a nice raised driveway pad, the whole stretch. And they've finished pouring gravel for that driveway, so it's now a beautiful little gravel drive that I can leave my Bronco in 2-wheel drive and just turn right off the road and drive onto my property for once, instead of having to throw it into 4-wheel drive and engage my rear locker and disconnect the sway bar, all this stuff I normally have to do to be able to comfortably traverse the land out here. It's nice that I can actually get out here now. I could bring my van out here. I don't even have to bring a 4-wheel drive vehicle. So that's really nice to be able to do now. And honestly, now that the driveway's in and you see all the site pads up there, it really starting to feel like a place, like a homestead, not just raw land. It really is a great sight to see. But yeah, they took all that dirt and they dispersed it they built up the barn pad, they built up the main, they used the majority of it to build up the main house site pad, which will be what we build next year or so, hopefully, after finishing all this out. They built up the guest house. They built up the detached garage. Much to my surprise, I didn't fully realize this, but the barn and the detached garage, being that they're metal buildings that are not living dwellings, did not have to be built up anywhere near as much as the locations for the main and guest house, because those are actual living dwellings. Those are built up substantially. I mean, they're probably built up 3 or 4 feet from where they were originally. So that's a lot of dirt that was used for all that, and we still have 2 mountains worth of dirt in the back. Just a crazy amount of dirt everywhere in here. And we still got a bunch of, I think he said trimmings or clippings. I can't remember what my contractor called the useless top layer of dirt that's matted up with weeds and grass and stuff. We got a couple of piles of that need to get out of here as well. But they did a lot of other stuff too. They did some tree removal. That there's a couple of trees that were in the way of the driveway and the garage locations. There was one that was in the way of the pond. There was a couple of dead trees out here that they were able to take out for me. And there was a bunch of piles of scrap from the previous owner of this land. There was like mangled up gates balled up in a pile. There was a bunch of old scrap wood in one area. There was I had a tent garage in the back of the property that was mangled from a tornado a couple of years ago. They got all that removed. So all of that stuff that was pesky and in my way whenever I would try to mow out here, it's all out of the way now, which is really exciting. And we're officially at the point where we're done with excavation. We've finished that up. They've got one pile of gravel that they've positioned at the end of the driveway that they're waiting to disperse until they finish doing all of the actual work on the structure, so that big trucks and stuff coming in and out of there will not damage the final top layer of gravel, you know, being smoothed out. So it'll still be a little rough around there while they're doing, but they've got the gravel out there to be able to disperse and smooth out once all that other work is done, which is pretty nice. But I can actually stand where that front porch will be on that guest house, and I can stand there and see what the view will be like when we're living there. And boy, what a sight it is. It's so exciting. But we're done with excavation. We're moving on. We're in the midst of permitting. We're waiting on permits to get approved now. My contractor said it'll be anywhere between 30 to 90 days from the time we applied for permits, which was about 2-3 weeks ago now. So maybe if we're lucky, we'll get some approved permits here in the next couple of weeks. But probably here in the next month or two, we'll start getting some of that permitting approved. And according to him, once we have permits approved, it's a maximum time frame of about 6 months to finish building everything we're building out here. And it could be less than that. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to be able to move in still around November, December time frame is our goal. So if everything goes right, which as we know, as all of you know, never happens with everything I'm talking about on this channel and this homestead build. If everything goes right, we'll be moving in by the end of the year. So saying prayers and fingers crossed, but at least now we've got stuff going and things are actually happening. And that's exciting. I'm happy to be able to say and report the homestead is on its way, and it is happening. And the lake is filling up, man. That thing's probably 2/3 of the way full now, and it's on its way. And pretty soon that'll be a nice little body of water to be able to stock full of fish. Can't wait for that. And I've got all kinds of plans to plant tons of trees on the side of that mountain I'm keeping over there. I'm going to build a little campsite on the top of that thing to be able to do some tent camping up there in the cooler months of the year. Oh, it's going to be awesome. But that's going to do it for today's video. Just wanted to give you a full update, fully discussing exactly what's going on out here and what the current state of the project's in. But thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video. Again, my name is Chad, and this is The Hopeful Homestead.